Hey everyone, welcome to Kel's Stitches. I'm Kelly and this is my channel about my obsession and passion for cross stitching. Today we are going to be doing a stitch with me, and it is going to be on this one, which is Mini Shaman. Artwork is by Laurie Prindle and the chart is by Heaven and Earth Designs. So it's been a while since I've done a stitch with me. Let me just zoom you in. I hope no one gets too sick with, too far, with that movement there. There we go, that should be right. So, yes, it's been a while since I've done a stitch with me. I've just never had the sort of opportunity to do it. I prefer to do it when the boys are outside feeding some of the horses, so I'm not getting interrupted or anything because everything is set up. The arm that's holding my phone is all set up in the living room over my stitchy spot, so I'm not going to change that just so I can get a stitch with me done when they're in the house. I'm sorry if you can hear any background noise such as cars going past or banging of drums or anything. As I said, the boys are outside feeding some of the horses and I've got the front door open because it is lovely and cool today. We're back down to like 22 degrees Celsius today after having 3 or 4 extremely hot days. Yesterday was 40, I think reached 40 degrees Celsius, and it was ridiculously hot when I got home, and the previous days before that were still around 35, 36. I think Tuesday actually reached 38 degrees Celsius, so for American viewers you're looking, that is around 105, 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Extremely hot, extremely dry. The weather, it's not very humid, it's more a dry heat at the moment because we've had no moisture, so it is very dry. If it was humid, it'd be a little bit more unbearable, but it was still ridiculously hot. And you've got to think, we are only in the first month of spring over here. We're yet to reach our hottest part of the year, so that's going to be fun. But yeah, today's back down nice and cool. We are getting a little bit of rain, a little bit of showers here and there. Tomorrow we're meant to be even cooler. We're meant to be back down to like 18 degrees is going to be the top, with more rain, so that'll cool things off, and then we're back up to 30. I think Monday, Tuesday next week we're back up to 35 degrees. So the weather really doesn't know what it wants to do at the moment. Alright, so what am I going to talk about on this Stitches Me? Hopefully, yes, my hand's in the road, but that's going to happen when I stitch two-handed. Try to keep it out of the road as much as possible for you all. Now, you're probably wondering what these, what these little tufty bits on my project are, like these little bits here. They are my waist knots. So when I start stitching on a page, if I have nowhere to finish my thread off underneath, if I've got no stitches to finish off the thread by sliding underneath, I will just go out by 5 or 6 stitches, come up, make a waist knot. Once I stitch fairly close to that, I will just snip it off once it's done. So that is what those little bits are. Alright, so I'm just sticking with this black at the moment, just to get this done out of the road. We'll see if we manage to get into any other colour in this stitches thing. So today is Thursday the 26th of October 2023, and I have just got back yesterday from going to Brisbane for the Chicks concert, which was absolutely amazing. So I will talk about that a little bit, or probably most of it. For most of it, I also thought I'd do this stitch with me and talk about the Chicks concert and our time in Brisbane and stuff like that, just so I didn't take up ages on my usual update, which I hope to do on Monday, because I know not everyone likes to hear about personal stuff on updates. They just want to see the stitching, and that is fair enough. So where shall I start? Let's start back on Saturday, when work catered the our Jacaranda ball, which is the ball that is held at the start of the Jacaranda Festival, which goes from the 20th of October to the 5th of November every year. So they hold this ball. It is for all the candidates for the crown, and they do their little bit of a dance, they get introduced and all that sort of stuff. So people buy their tickets to attend this ball, and we cater for it. So this year there was 400 that we catered for canapes, and then the sit-down meal was 320 people. And it went off really well. The entertainment was hilarious. They had a male burlesque dancer and a drag queen as the MC. He was hilarious. Some of his jokes, I don't know if they went down too well, but I found him funny. He was so funny. One of my colleagues got a photo with him, and he was so tall. Like, she's a little bit shorter than me, so she's probably 5'6", 5'7", maybe. She's not that much shorter than me. And with his 6-inch stiletto wedge heels on, she slotted under his armpit just nicely, like, and it was so funny. She just looked so tiny beside him. It was hilarious. But yeah, that was a really good night. We were done and finished and everything by 10 o'clock. Had everyone fed, all the desserts and everything out. The band was good, a little bit loud. Their music was a little bit loud. Their sound was a little bit loud for my liking. They could have turned it down a notch or two. I don't understand with these bands that are in small areas why they think they need to have the sound at the decibels of an arena concert, to be honest. Like, when you're in a little okay, yeah, it's still big enough. The barn was still big enough to hold 300 people in it, but it's not an arena, for God's sakes. It is just a little barn. You do not need to have your sound that high. You couldn't hear yourself think. You couldn't hear. You were yelling at each other to even in the kitchen. We were yelling at each other to hear over the music, which is ridiculous. You shouldn't have to yell. You couldn't hear anyone talking at the tables or nothing because it was so loud. But they played decent music and that, so if that's all I've got to complain about, well. And, I mean, we weren't there for the music. We were there to cater and do our job. But it would have been so much nicer if we weren't having to yell at each other. But, yeah, when we were all done, they had a photo booth there. No, it's not. I think it's in my bedroom. They had a photo booth there for the people, like the guests and stuff, to go and take photos in front of they had a backdrop there with all jacaranda flowers over it. And a couple of the kitchen staff grabbed me at the end of the night and we went and got photos taken. And then we're standing there and we were yelling at the juniors and that to come in and get photos as well. And at first they didn't really understand what we were meaning, and then it clicked, and the next minute this whole tribe of juniors, you're talking like probably 6 or 7 other people, came running in to get these photos. And it was just funny because there was like 10 of us trying to squeeze into this little area for this photo, and some people, they rushed in so quick that the shorter people ended up at the back and the taller people were trying to crouch down at the front but trying to stay in the line of the camera and stuff like that. It was quite funny. And they printed out, like, it came out sort of like a photo booth. There was 3 photos side by side, and unfortunately it cut off a lot, but they were only like your little tester sort of photos of what they were going to turn out like. Apparently they will get uploaded online, and then they will send you the link, so then you can go and get the actual full photos and we can print them off. So it was pretty good. It was funny. We had a bit of a laugh and a giggle and a bit of fun at the end of the night after a hard day, a full day of busting our butts, basically. Everyone was happy. All the guests said how lovely the food and the service was. Yeah, so I do have a couple of videos of the drag queen and stuff. My phone is about 5-year-old and it's only got a small 13 megapixel camera on it, which back then was a fairly decent camera, but it doesn't take the best photos and videos in certain lighting settings, or even when I zoom in it's not the best. So I've done the best that I could with it. So I don't know, might leave them and insert no, I'll leave them. I'll put them on my update video, I think. See how long this one goes for. So yeah, that was that. And then we came home. Sunday I had to work, which is just a normal day. I still hadn't packed my bags to go to Brisbane on Monday, so I came home and I packed my bags and got all that sort of stuff sorted. And then Monday came and my daughter and I headed off to Brisbane, or as I like to call it, Bris Vegas. Headed off there. It's about a 4-hour drive from where I am. So we stopped halfway at Chindra at a little cafe called Cubby's, and had something to eat, and a bit of a rest. Gave the car a bit of a rest because it was a stinking hot day again and had the aircon going all the way. So we stopped there and had something to eat. I ended up getting, what did I get? Oh, an almond croissant. They bake everything on site. I got an almond croissant and a carrot cheesecake. Me being the fatty that I am, got two. I should have just stopped at the almond croissant, because by the time I was through that, I was looking at this cake and I'm going, don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this or eat it. I gave it a good go. I finished it. So yeah, and then we got back in the car and kept going for another 2 hours. Headed straight through on the M1, straight up to Brisbane. Well, we went over the Gateway Bridge because we didn't actually have to go to the into the city. Being the country girl that I am, I'm not real confident in driving in city situations. Yes, I can do I know how traffic lights and all that sort of stuff, but not being in the city for a long time, I wasn't real confident driving through the city CBD. All right, quick tangent here, guys. As you can see, I have, not that one, this one, I have stitched close or on that waist knot, so I just snipped it off. The tail on the back should have been covered over by those stitches that I have just done. Find my needle again. Alright, so back to our scheduled program. So we got up to Brisbane and we were like a kilometre away from our accommodation, and the car decided to overheat. Lucky that there was a bit of a shopping centre, but there was some shops and parks and stuff there, so I just ducked off and parked, lifted the bonnet of the car and sat around. We just sat around for half an hour or so to let the car cool down a little bit. I know we were only a kilometre away from the accommodation, but there was another 3 sets of traffic lights between us and our turn off. So I didn't want to, if we hit green lights all the way, yes, that might have been all right, but I didn't want to hit a red light and be sitting there and the car completely shit itself because it overheated too much. So pulled off and sat there for half an hour and let the car cool down, got back in the car, drove a kilometre up the road to our accommodation, which was all right because that gave us, just snipping another waist knot off, that gave us, it took us over check-in time because we couldn't check in till 2 o'clock anyway. So that took us to past check-in time for hotel. So we checked in and took all our bags and everything up to the room. I was going to do a little walkthrough video of the room, but I didn't end up doing that. So we turned the aircon on straight away in our room and we sat down and had a bit of a rest, even though we'd just driven 4 hours. It is exhausting sitting in a car driving, so we had a bit of a rest and then we decided to go out for dinner, and we went to the words Kelly we went to the Outback Steakhouse. We'd already decided that wherever we were going to go, we'd catch taxis or Ubers. not being from the city and stuff like that, not having to drive everywhere. And after the car's little overheating episode, I didn't know whether it would get us to and from our destinations. So yeah, we took a taxi, had dinner, had a couple of cocktails, and got all dressed up. Looked, well, don't know about myself, but the daughter looked all right. So I might just put in, no, I won't put in any photos. I'll put photos in at the end of my update video. I know not everyone watches Stitch With Me's either, so I will put them in at the end of the video. So yeah, we had dinner and then we got a taxi back to our room. And yeah, so that was Monday over and done with. Oh, well, we discussed what we were going to do on the Tuesday. What we thought we'd do or wanted to do. So we decided that we'd just go. We were throwing around whether we'd take the bus into the city and spend the day in there, or whether we'd just go to the big shopping centre that was only like 5 k's away from the hotel. And as I said, like, if we were going to go into the city to go shopping, we might as well just go to Westfield at Chermside, because they probably have just all the same shops in there as what they would in the shopping centres in the city. So that's what we decided to do. So we got up on the Tuesday morning and got ready, got a taxi, went to Westfield. When we got there, we were both like, we're a little bit hungry because we hadn't had any breakfast yet. This was like 9 o'clock in the morning. So we walked around the shopping centre, had a look. We were looking for a cafe or something, and we came across this little cafe. It was called the Gun Shop Cafe. And yeah, we looked at the menu and I was like, I seen the first thing on the menu I seen and I was like, oh my God, I have got to have that. Don't know what it looks like, but I'm going to try it. They were called unicorn pancakes. Now, I will slot a photo in of these deliciousness at the end of this. They were amazing. So you had a stack of pancakes. They weren't like big round pancakes, they were only little pancakes. But you had a stack, I think, of 4 or 5 pancakes, and then on top of that you had a waffle cone that had ice cream in it that had been upended on the cone, on the stack of pancakes, so it looked like a unicorn horn. And then around that waffle cone you had a thick layer of pink fairy floss, or as the Americans call it, pink cotton candy. And then around the outside of the plate you had strawberries, fresh strawberries and bananas all cut up. And it had a passion fruit, house-made passion fruit coulis all over it, with crushed or chopped pistachios and, what else was it? Pistachios and sprinkles, I think. Oh my God, it was delicious. That was so good. I'm a sweetie, so it was right up my alley. I was just like, oh yes, these are so good. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing they were. So once we finished breakfast, we got up and walked around the shopping centre, done some shopping, picked up a few things. I picked up a few things for Christmas presents and stuff, and we walked around, had a look in quite a few shops, and just enjoyed ourselves for the day. And then we went, before we left to go back to the accommodation, we went and had lunch at a Hong Kong, traditional Hong Kong restaurant, and we were still pretty full from breakfast, so we decided that we'd just get like 4 or 5 entrees to share, and they were delicious. Food was amazing. I just loved the food. Couldn't eat. I was glad it was only for a couple of days, because I definitely couldn't eat like that all the time. But yeah, it was absolutely amazing. So yeah, and then we finished lunch. We tried to find our way back to the main entrance where the taxi rank was. We walked in circles about 3 or 4 times, went down a few wrong alleys, or like wrong sections, found ourselves back where we started from. So then we were just like, oh bugger it, we're just going to go this way. And we eventually found our way back to the main entrance, got a taxi, and went back to the accommodation. Now this was Tuesday. We decided that we weren't going to spend all day at the shopping centre, because we wanted to get back and have a bit of a break and all that before we had to get ready and go to the concert. So yeah, that's what we did. The hotel had already booked us a taxi, well, a maxi taxi, because there was quite a few other guests staying there that they were also going to the concert, so they booked a maxi taxi at 6 o'clock to make it cheaper for us all to get to and from the concert. And yeah, so we got ready for the concert and headed there. And oh my God, as soon as we pulled up and I'd just seen all of these people like heading in, I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? Because I get anxiety in huge crowds. I get really bad anxiety and have anxiety attacks in huge crowds. So I was starting to, not so much panic, but I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. This is just, I don't know. But anyway, we went through the turnstiles and up into the entertainment centre, and just stood there for a second and orientated ourselves. Yes, food's that way, merchandise that way, bar is that way. We headed straight to the bar and got a couple of drinks, and then we decided, yeah, we'll get our merchandise now rather than at the end, because they might sell out of our sizes or sell out of certain things. So yeah, we were like, oh, we'll go and stand in line for the merchandise. Anywho, there was 6 lines. 6 lines? Yeah, 6 lines. We chose a line, stood in it. Standing there, standing there, standing there. I'm looking at Sinead, Sinead's looking at me, we're looking at the people behind us, they're shrugging their shoulders like, what the heck is happening? because the lines on either side of us were moving quicker than we were. Like, people were lining up behind us and then they were in front of us. And I'm like, what the bloomin' hell's going on? I used a stronger word than that. But I said, we have to be in the slowest bloody line out of them all. And then I'm like, nah, I'm committed to this line. I've stood in here for this long. I am not moving to another line because I'd have to go to the back of the line. And hopefully this line will start moving quicker. It didn't, but we moved up a little bit because some people bailed. They were like, nah, stuff this, I'm not standing here any longer. We're going to go to our seats. And they bailed. Anyway, we're standing here and I looked at Shanae and I said, well, I finished my drink. Do you want to go and get another drink? And go and get us another drink. Or go and get some food. So Shanae went off and got some food. Came back. I think I was still in the same position. And we stood there. We were eating our food that she got. Finished it. Moved up a little bit more. Watching all these other people side to side going past us, like, what the heck is going on? Like, this is ridiculous. And there was a gap between our line and the line over, and I sort of looked like, why is there such a big gap between us? That was the disabled line. They had a designated disabled line. And I was watching these people with wheelchairs and that go up, get their merch and go. And I couldn't help myself. I said to Shanae, damn it, where can I get a wheelchair from? She looked at me and she was like, why? And I said, so I can use the disabled line. Like, I'm happy to sit in the wheelchair so we can use the disabled line. There was a little Filipino woman in front of us, and she's just turned around and she said, good idea, I'll pretend to be your carer. And we just all lost it. We couldn't help it. We just started cracking up laughing. The couple behind us started laughing. They were like, oh, well, that's a pretty good idea. And I said, well, if we can find a few extra wheelchairs, like, we're happy to give them to use as well, so you can do the same thing. But it was a really good atmosphere, even though we were all standing there and getting a little bit shitty because the line was moving so slow. But we were talking to each other and having a joke and what haven't you. So it was a good atmosphere. So we done that and we got our merchandise and then we went back. I went and got a couple more drinks. I said to Shanae, right, you get the alcohol, I'll go and get us a couple of bottles of water. So she's standing at the bar line to get drinks, and I've gone over to get a couple of bottles of water, and they took the lids off them. All the drinks were opened. And I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be fun. Here I am with jumpers and caps and t-shirts and everything under my arm, trying to hold them. And then I've got these two opened bottles, full bottles of water in my hand. So I took a glug out of both of those, just so I wasn't splashing them everywhere. Went over, met Shanae at the bar. She was at the front of the line by this stage. And she got herself 2 drinks and me another rum. And we're like, right, let's go and find our seat. We're walking along. I was like, nope, we better go to the toilet first. Because once we're on that floor, I ain't moving for anything. I am not going to move. Because I'm not missing anything. So, yeah. So we went to the toilet and headed to our door, which was door 4, because we were down on the floor, like not right in front of the stage. We were about 10, I think it would have been, about 10 rows back from the stage, which was a pretty good area, I reckon. If I had have pulled my finger out and not hummed and hard for 2 days over whether to get the tickets or not, I would have actually got closer seats. But anyway, that wasn't meant to be. That wasn't to be. We got the seats that we did. So we're heading through door 4, and we've got to the top of the stairs, and I've just gone, oh shit, so many people. Because at this stage, 90% of people were in their seats, and I've just gone, oh shit, so many people. And Sinead's just looked at me, because she has bad anxiety in crowded situations as well, and she's just looked at me like, oh my god, Mum, what have we done? But we were committed, so we started heading down the steps. We get to the bottom of the stairs to get onto the floor, and the security guard goes, I showed him the tickets for him to show us where our seats were, and he goes, oh no, before you do that, all your drinks have to go in plastic cups. You got to think, here I am, still with the merchandise under my arm, carrying 2 bottles of water. Sinead had a tray that had 3 drinks in it. We've just looked at each other like, oh, come on, we're not going to be able to carry 5 or 6 cups. Like, this is ridiculous. So I'm just standing there, and I just sculled a whole bottle of water, which with my bladder was probably not the best idea, but I done it anyway. So here I am, sculled a whole bottle of water, put the other one in a plastic cup. Lucky, two of Sinead's drinks went into 1 cup, and the rest of my Bundy, which was only half a can by this stage, went into another one. And then we were told where our seats were. So we went to our seats, and the best thing was our seats were right on the end of the aisle. So it was actually a good position. We weren't boxed in by anyone. We didn't feel like we had people all the way around us, which was probably the best seats that we could have got. So yeah, we were on the end of the aisle, or end of the row, I should say, which for us were, as I said, probably the best seats that we possibly could have got. So at this point, Elle King was still playing, which was the supporting act for the Chicks. She was good. She I'd never heard of her before, but she sang some good songs. It was pretty funny. And then Elle finished, and there was a bit of like just recorded music and videos and stuff playing while they removed Elle's all of Elle's stuff and her band's stuff off the stage. And there was one song that came on just before the Chicks came on, and everyone, the whole crowd, just started singing it. It was so good. The whole crowd just roared and just started singing this song. I might put that video in at the end of this one as well. So yeah, that was really good. It was good. And then the Chicks came on, and Oh, so amazing. Just, you always hear people go on about how amazing live concerts and stuff are, and you always wonder, do they sound as good as their recorded voices and stuff like that? And I tell you, these ladies surpassed even their recordings. They were amazing. Opened with Gaslighter, which is their newest, or not their newest because this album's been out for a while, but opened with Gaslighter, and then they were a mixture of songs from their new album and some of their greatest hits. The atmosphere of the crowd was amazing. Everyone was happy. There was no push and shove and fight and anything like that. It was just, oh my God, I can't explain it enough. It was friggin' awesome, is all I can say. The bass beat from some of the songs hit you right in the chest. You could feel it right through your body. Got up, sang, danced, laughed. I tried to get some photos, but once again, my camera on this phone is not the best. It was really not liking the purple and red lights that they were using. It wouldn't focus properly for the pictures anyway. I did get some half decent videos, only short ones. I didn't video, wasn't like I had the camera stuck to my hand for the whole concert, because I can't see the point in that. Like, you go to the concert to watch the people live. You've paid all that money. Why do you want to sit there and then watch it through a phone screen? You could have just sat at home and watched someone's recording that they put up on YouTube or something. I can't understand that mentality. So I took a few little videos here and there, only like maximum I think is like 1 minute or something like that. So, but I was getting so cranky with my phone not focusing and stuff like that, that there was one point that I was going to whack it. I was going to toss it into the crowd. I didn't care where it went, or what ended up with it, and what ended up to it, what happened to it, I should say. I was just so cranky with it that, yeah, I was getting ready to yoink it. But I didn't. But yeah, and certain songs, the crowd just erupted. Just the whole arena, stadium, just, not stadium, it wasn't stadium, whole arena just sang and cheered, and it was so good. I can't say it enough. It was amazing. So worth going to it. Now I'm even more super excited to go to Pink in February, but I will be getting myself a new phone that has a better camera on it. I could have taken my good digital camera, but I didn't want to have to be burdened with a big bulky camera. But yeah, no, I'll definitely be getting myself a new phone with a better camera. I already know what phone I'm getting. Shanae and I had a look in the Samsung store when we were shopping on the Tuesday. We had a look. There was two phones that I was tossing up about. getting. Both have very similar specs to them. And both of them are basically new release phones. One was released in March, the other one was released in September, I think. So both this year's phones. But you know what it's like, you sort of don't know what the cameras and stuff. I mean, they've both got the same camera to them. But when we opened the camera and had a look, one seemed to have better quality camera. It just seemed a little bit clearer, a little bit brighter. So I think that's the phone that I'm going to go with, which is the one that I thought that I'd go with anyway. But it was good just to see them both in person, in like operating, and just to be able to compare those camera specs. Now that can just come down to the application to the camera's using or has been installed on the phone. One may have a slightly different installation or application than the other one. So, but yeah, I've made my decision on the phone. So yeah, anyway, the chicks finished. They finished off with Goodbye Earl. And of course the crowd went absolutely ballistic and were all singing and chanting and dancing and all that. And the ladies finished and they waved and came to the front of the stage and posed for photos and stuff like that. It was just an amazing night. It was so good. Where we were seated was, I mean, yes, we could have been closer, but it was still good enough and it was still close enough that you could see the stage and you could see them. They weren't like teeny tiny Lego people on a stage. Like you could see their faces and their expressions and everything without looking at the big screens that they had on either side of the stage. So yeah, and when they finished, they walked off stage, and then of course the lights came on and we all started to file out, and they were playing music while we were walking out. And one of the songs was Girls Run the World by Beyonce. And of course, everyone's still on a high from the chicks, and we were all still dancing and singing in the aisles as we're moving onto the exits. And as we're getting closer to one of the stairways, we've all looked up, and here's this older lady, had to been in her 60s, I would say. Here she is, with the bum pointed out towards the crowd, like towards the floor, because everyone in the stands had basically left. It was just us on the floor that had to go. Here she is with a bum facing out towards us, twerking and swinging it around in time to the music. And I don't know if she realised that everyone was watching her or not, but we all started cheering and clapping and that, and she's turned around and looked at us like, oh my God, I didn't think anyone had seen that. And it was just so funny. Like, it was funny. It just capped off the night. Like, but yeah, we got outside and caught a taxi back to the hotel. Wasn't that a taxi ride? We found the ladies that we'd caught the maxi taxi with to go there. We found them again, so we all decided we'd get a maxi taxi back to the hotel since we were all going to the same place. And this maxi taxi pulls up and the security guards yell out, "Have we got 6 passengers?" And we were all like, "Yeah, we do." And even though we were like halfway down this line that was waiting for the taxis. So we got into this maxi taxi. And I don't know how long that this gentleman had been in the country for, but he didn't know where he was going. He went the wrong way. He turned the wrong way to start with. And we were all telling him, no, you're going the wrong way. So he had to fang a Yui. And then as we're getting closer to our accommodation, we were telling him, like, yeah, you got to turn right here. Like, at these lights, turn right. Or, like, do a Yui at these lights. And he's like, he went to do it, and he's gone, oh my God, I can't go down that street. And he stopped in the middle of the intersection. And we're going, just do a Yui. No, I can't. The light's red. I said, and we've gone, the lights are green. The way that we're heading, the lights are green. Like, go. Just go. Because at this point, there was buses and trucks zooming past us. All the six of us, I think, could think of is we're going to get frickin' taken out by something. And he's sitting there, and he was going to reverse, and I was like, don't you fucking reverse. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to say. Don't you reverse. Like, you're going to reverse straight into the line of traffic coming up our arse. Just do a U-turn. Our hotel is right there. Just do a Yui. There's nothing coming the other way. Do a Yui. He's still humming and hawing. I was at the stage where I was going to bail. I was going to open the door and get out and drag Shanae out behind me and stand on the island in the middle of the highway because I was scared that we were going to get taken out by something. But he eventually got done a U-turn and got us to the hotel. And he says, as he's driving into the hotel's driveway, he goes, well, that was dangerous. Yes, dickhead, you made it dangerous because you were the one that was driving. If you had have just done the U-turn like we told you to do, it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have turned into that the way it was. Like, it was scary. And I felt like saying to him as I got out of the taxi, mate, how long have you been driving for? Or how long have you been in the country for? Because he had no idea where he was bloody going. And yeah, it was just scary. It still didn't. It was a bit of a way to end the night, but we didn't let it get us down. We were still on a high from the concert. It could have ended a lot worse, but we must have had guardian angels looking out for us, because I don't know how we got out of it without being involved in an accident, but we did. So yeah, that was scary. And I have to say, the other taxi drivers that we'd had the previous night, on the Monday night, they got us there fast. Like, yeah, thanks, saved us money, got us there fast, but mate, you can use your brakes a little bit. I was at the point where I was bracing myself, because I was in the back seat, I was bracing myself against the seat every time we went around a corner. Because the first taxi driver we had, he'd just come flying up to the intersections or the corners or the stop, like the traffic lights, and wouldn't put his brakes on until the very end. And it was like, holy shit. Like, putting your life in their hands. It was, yeah. kind of scary. And it often makes me wonder, do these people, and these were taxis, they weren't Ubers, these were taxis, so they were hired by a company. Like, they were hired by a company, so they're not just Ubers. But yeah, so anyway, we went back up to our room and got changed into our jammies and sat around and had a chat and a talk and watched the videos that we'd taken and stuff like that. And we were still on a high, so of course your body's still like on a high over it. Took us a little while to sort of calm down and get ready to go to sleep. So yeah, so we went to sleep and then got up on the Wednesday and made another 4-hour trip home. And once again, I don't know if I've broken the car or not, but it decided to overheat when we were like 500 meters away from our destination. But it was a stinking hot day. It was 40-degree day, so I don't know. I have to send it to the mechanic to see what's going on with it. But yeah, so that was that. I'll leave it as that, guys, for today. I will put in a couple of pictures and videos of what I was talking about. And yeah, so I hope that you have enjoyed this Stitch with me. If you have taken the time to watch it, thank you very much. I know not everyone likes watching the Stitch with me's, but if you have, thank you very much appreciated. Leave any comments and questions down below and I will get around to answering them, whether it's in a Stitch with me or whether it's in an update. I will endeavour to answer them. I will comment back to your comment. I will reply to your comment anyway. But yeah, so thank you very much, guys. It is very much appreciated when you watch my videos. I will just finish off these last 3 stitches and we'll see how many that I have got done in the time that I have been recording, which will be nearly 50 minutes, I think. So yes, now I have to remember what, I know one picture that I said I was going to put in, but I have to remember what video I said I was going to tag on. Alright, so we have done 240 stitches in this video. That's not too bad going for 50 minutes. Very good going. Alright guys, so thank you very much and I will see you on my update. Bye for now.